Is this working? Let's do a double check. All right, it is. Nice. Okay. So I want to do a quick video on like what saturation is, because I feel like a lot of people use it, but they don't know what it is per se and like how to get the most out of it. So I'm going to explain first technically what it is. So saturation, what does it do? Let's get a saturator on and look at what happens. I'm going to bring over my mini meters here onto this screen, and we're going to look at how this sine wave looks right now. As you can see, let me loop this. It's a pure tone. It's pure tone. We just have that. There's a little click at the start. That's like an artifact. Don't worry about that. But it's a pure tone. And if we freeze this real quick, oops, sorry. If we record, watch this, you'll see that it is just a pure tone. To your channel. You can see it's just a pure tone. There's nothing fancy. Let's put a saturator on this and see what it does. So I put a saturator on. Let's turn it on. And let's put down, let's put it to digital clip. No color. Oh, it's actually acting really weirdly. But what is it doing right now? Watch. As I turn this up, it's getting a square. It's turning from a sine wave into a square. What is it doing? So you can see up here, right now it's just a pure tone. As I saturate, it's actually adding harmonics at the top. Okay, what the hell does that mean? Well, first of all, we could try using this, for example, to beefing up a bass. So let's take this serum, let's take this note and drop it down right now. Right now it's a C2, let's make it a bass note. Oh, hang on, I was supposed to be playing only this. Okay, now it's too low actually. So right now it's a low note. And watch what happens as we jump up the drive. We start getting some higher harmonics. So what's happening is like this note, the middle of it, like the core of it is still this low note, but you can still hear it now on, for example, phone speakers or something else, because we brought the harmonics up. So these are still almost like they're attached to the sound, but they're not the core part of the sound. So you can trick like low end phones and stuff to feeling the bass, even though they can't like technically reproduce it, they feel it because the harmonics are there. What this also means is an interesting thing is that this is not actually getting any louder when I push the drive. Like check this out. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to record down to the resampling. I'm going to record our sine wave. I forgot to record. So I'm going to record down here. Am I stupid? Oh, yeah, I am. We're going to record to here. I'm going to put that down here. And then I'm going to record a second one with the saturator on pretty high. Now, I'm going to come in here. We're going to move this out of the way for a second. And we're going to zoom in. And what do you notice? Well, these are lined up more or less. It's just these are square waves now. Okay. And there's another interesting thing. If I get and put like a metering plugin on this, like let's do Pro L, and we're going to turn everything off and we're just going to use the metering part of it, which is this. So there is nothing here. We are going to, how do you do this? I know there's a way. Never mind. There is no way. I swear there's a nice metering thing here, but I guess not. I will just use my Swiss Army meter. So we put it here on this one. We can see that right now, the true peak is 0. You can ignore these others. The true peak is 0. It is technically 0 decibels. We go to this one. It's also 0 decibels, but it sounds louder. So what saturation can do is basically make your song sound louder, but without actually getting louder in the like technological sense. Okay, what do I do with this? You may be asking. Well, let's go with example 2 here. Just need both these. So I made a little drum loop here. Pretty good. But it's kind of not doing that much for me. Like, it's kind of quiet, and like you want your drums knocking, and these are not knocking. So watch what happens. I'm gonna record this down. I'm gonna resample it, and we're gonna try to saturate it and see what we can get, and see how it changes too. Okay, so there's loop 1, and now let's put a little saturation. Let's get a little freaky, a little saturation on it. Put saturator. Nice little sweet spot. You can even go harder for like example's sake. All right, let's check out how that sounds. We're gonna compare visually side by side. Okay, so we've got our saturated or unsaturated. And look what we've done. Like, okay, our kicks are about the same loudness, right? But you can see here visually, this hat is bigger than this hat. So what we've done is we've basically brought everything up, and there's just a hard wall things will hit. Okay, you may be thinking like, I don't know if this taught me much. Yeah, I think this example was actually kind of dookie. So I'm gonna show you one more nice example. We're gonna need to find a specific flavor of kick though. So I'm gonna pause while I look for one. All right, I found a kick that kind of works for this. I'm just gonna use an example. So here we've got our kick. It's kind of a nice thumpy garage type kick. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a saturator on the digital clip mode, hard clip. I'm gonna drive it 2.6 decibels higher. So it's 2 decibels louder. And then I'm gonna afterwards make it quieter. So I'm gonna push it into the saturator at 2.6 decibels and then immediately remove that gain. And watch what happens. Listen to how loud it sounds. So this is without. And this is with. We're like, okay, who cares? Well, check this out. I'm going to resample the kick normally, one time. And I'm going to put on these plugins. And I'm going to resample it a second time. Let me move this out of the way. So check this out. We have a kick that sounds just as loud, but we actually gained 2 decibels of headroom. Like, we can make this 2 decibels louder now. And technically speaking, this kick is quieter, but it sounds the same volume. In fact, if I go side by side and we go back and forth, like, yes, the tone changed a bit, and that's why you have to play around to understand how to use this. But we got 2 decibels of headroom, like for free, basically. And that's why saturation is so powerful. This is a really useful thing on heavy sounds that are already kind of distorting. Think your guitars, your basses. Putting a little bit of saturation just lets you make things a bit louder at the expense of distortion. But in EDM, distortion isn't a bad thing. Like, we live and breathe on that shit, right? So I hope this gave you some ideas on how to use saturators. Me personally, my master is literally just a digital clipper. This is how I make my shit loud. It's just this. So, you know, consider using it a bit on some of your stuff. Maybe it'll help. So I just want to bring up one more example. In my jump remix, which I'll give the context here. So in this remix, I actually use this, like, I saturate hard because, like, I want this shit to be loud. So example is this group here. It sounds really big and full. And the thing is saturation introduces distortion, you know, but in this case, it doesn't. You can see here that we're going above 0. But when I saturate it with just like 0.5 drive, it sounds the same. And technically my headroom is lower. So especially on really like sharp sounds, you can really get away with it. Like, here's another example. Two decibels of drive, and it sounds about the same. like, yeah, it's a bit noisier, but also it's just like trap. Like, who cares? So especially if you're doing heavy bass music, you can get away with a lot of saturation. But even in more subtler genres, as long as you keep in mind that, like, if it's super short, no one will notice. That's a good example. I don't know why I'm not saturating this. These notes are so short that it will introduce distortion, yeah, but for like 1 second. So who cares? We'll just do like a hard clip. It doesn't sound any different. We just drop this significantly in terms of its loudness. Oh, I should probably save that. It's actually an update there. But yeah, just saturation's epic. Don't be afraid to use it. Use it tastefully though. Like, it's something you learn with time. Like, what's the right amount? But try it out. I'm sure it'll help.